الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا وشفيع ذنوبنا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين وصحبه المنتجبين.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Tonight is dedicated to Ali al-Asghar, the baby of Ashura, whose martyrdom and pure blood represented a signature to confirm the message of all martyrs at the end. There was a time on that day that there was nothing left to sacrifice. Imam Hussein alayhi salam, he went to the camps to say his final goodbye. But then he noticed that this baby was crying. Thirsty, hungry, tired. He thought for a moment to take the baby and make the hujjah for human history that what kind of situation he was dealing with. He said, ناوليني ولدي الصغير حتى أودعه. I want to make a wada' with Asghar as well. Then he addressed the enemies and said, إن لم ترحموني فارحموا هذا الرضيع. If you have no compassion in your character, in your heart, for us as adults, but can you be merciful to this baby? There was a moment of silence and wandering among the camp of the shaitan. And Umar ibn Sa'd felt that it may bring more confusion. He called Harmala and he said, why you are silent? He got the message. He said, you mean the father or the son? And he pointed to the throat of that baby. Moments later, this beautiful, pure drops of blood coming on the shoulders and arms of Imam Hussein. Since the whole mission of Karbala was about being faithful, positive, strong energy and confidence, Imam said, هَوَّنَ عَلَيَّ مَنْ نَزَلَ بِي أَنَّهُ بَعِينِ اللَّهِ. The thing that makes me relax and at peace is that the Lord is watching what is going on this land today. اللهم احكم بيننا وبين هؤلاء القوم. Oh Lord, you are just and you are the judge, and please you judge between us on the day of judgment. You may say that how things like that can happen, and how can people who claim to carry the message of Muhammad, peace be upon him, can massacre his family. How can this is possible? There is a hadith from Imam Hussein alayhi salam that is really goes to the basis of the human psychology when he said, الناس عبيد الدنيا والدين لعب على ألسنتهم يحوتونه ما درت معايشهم فإذا محسوا بالبلاء قل الديانون. Many people are slaves of this world. Many of them, when they talk even about religion, is just lip service. لعب على ألسنة. It's just tongue talking. يحوتونهم ما درت معايشهم. They do the ihata, they are circling around the faith as long as their prophets are protected. But the time that they go to test, few stay faithful. قَلَّ الدَّيَّانُ. This is also in the Quran. وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَعْبُدُ اللَّهَ عَلَى حَرْفٍ. There are some people that they worship God, but they are at the very edge, like here at the border. They are worshiping, but little thing, beyond the margin, little thing can just go either way. It's not stability. Very weak, very vulnerable. They may fall down anytime because ala harfin. They are on the hashia, they are on the edge. If the prophet is there, but the moment there is a problem, they can handle it. They are the losers in this world and hereafter. This is exactly what happened in Ashura, in the land of Karbala, that qallat dayanun, because there was a test. And that test is for you, for me, for all of us. All of us in our lives have moments of Ashura and Karbala. A certain time and certain place in our life, we face situations that we must make tough decisions, and that is our Ashura, that is our Karbala. Karbun wa bala. When we go through bala, when we go through imtihan and through test, then we are practicing Ashura. This is why it says, Kullu yawmin Ashura wa kullu ardin Karbala. Every day can be Ashura for you, for us. Every place can be a Karbala. And we are facing all this challenge. And it's not bad to have Ashura and Karbala as an imtihan. Somebody was making a prayer in presence of Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, and so God, please save us from any bala and any fitna and any imtihan. So we don't want to have any problems in our life. And Imam said that is not a good prayer. We need to go through tests and challenges, but say it like the Quran says, رَبَّنَا وَلَا تُحَمِّلْنَا مَا لَا طَاقَةَ لَنَا بِهِ. Let us go through imtihan, but not the ones that we cannot handle. If you give us a headache can be helpful, but kind of headache that we can handle it. We have medicine for that. Not a headache that there is no recovery for that and no medical for that. We need to go through bala and imtihan and difficulties in our life if we want to get to an-nafs al-mutma'innah. If we want to live in peace and purity then we have to go through tests in our life, like a school. I mean, if you go just to school and the first day they give you a PhD, that doesn't mean anything. It's not worth anything. Well, that's not anything. But when you go through tough homework and exams and days and nights working non-stop to do research and prepare papers and win the imtihan, then when you get the degree, that is something dignified. And now we have the characters in Karbala. They represent this imtihan. One side you see Umar ibn Sa'd, and another side you see Hurr ibn Yazid ibn Riyahi. This Umar Sa'd was a big guy. I don't think that's one a normal guy. He is Umar ibn Sa'd ibn Waqqas. His father, Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, was the commander-in-chief of Al-Qadisiyah. That was a war in area called Qadisiyah, which is not very far from Karbala itself in Iraq. And that was the battle when the second Caliph Umar assigned Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas to lead that battle in Qadisiyah, and that defeated the superpower of Persia. That was a huge operation. And that guy was one of the companions of the Prophet. Now, Umar ibn Sa'd, this is the son of that guy. And now again, subhanAllah, in Karbala, close to Qadisiyah, but this time on the wrong side. The wrong side of this struggle. Imam Hussein told Umar ibn Sa'd that, are you serious? You are there to fight the son of the Prophet? Are you really willing to kill Imam Hussein and his family? Umar ibn Sa'd said that, Ya Rasulullah, I have family, I have property, I have a position, I have this, I have that. And Imam Hussein said that, we take care of that. You just join us. You are Muslim. You don't claim that you are faithful. If you really want to be closer to Allah, don't you believe in God? The only way to get closer to Allah, to accept wilayatullah, not wilayatul shaitan, join us. Umar Sa'd said that, well, let me see what can I do. He wrote a letter to Ibn Ziyad, the commander in Kufa, and he tried to change the mind of Ibn Ziyad to say, is there any way that we can avoid this war? And Ibn Ziyad said that, Umar ibn Sa'd, you cannot fool me, okay? Don't try to move around the bush and try to think that you can change my opinion. Shame is coming to you. Either Hussein ibn Ali and his companions, they accept to surrender, so you can arrest them and bring them to me alive, or I'm waiting for you to kill them and bring me their heads. So they have only two options: to recognize Yazid and survive, or not to recognize and suffer death. It's up to them. Umar ibn Sa'd, he knows that Imam Hussein would never accept to do bay'ah with Yazid ibn Muawiyah. But then he has to make a decision. Ibn Ziyad told him that if you do the job, you are going to be rewarded as a person who obeyed his commander. If you don't do that, you leave everything for Shem, he's going to be the commander, and you are going to punish as a person who disobeyed his commander, Which one you want? Now, this is Ashura for him. This is Karbala for Umar ibn Sa'd. He has to make a decision. And now we remember what Imam Hussein said, الناس عبيد الدنيا لا تغرنكم الحياة الدنيا. Make sure that dunya does not deceive you. Dunya is ready to fool you. Make sure this is not happening. Unfortunately, Umar ibn Sa'd, he failed this test, and finally, back and forth, thinking about his position, forgetting what Imam Hussein told him, that don't think that if you kill us, you are going to be a winner and have a prosperous life and happy life. And no. It's going to be very long to the time that something is going to happen to you. It happened to Umar ibn Sa'd. 5 years later, when Mukhtar won the city of Kufa, the chief of police of Mukhtar al-Thaqafi, he came to Umar Sa'd. Umar Sa'd was in his bed, in his room, and he said after a moment, هذا رأس قاتل الحسين. He took his head and brought it on the streets of Kufa and showed it to the people that this is criminal Umar ibn Sa'd, the one who killed Imam Hussein. Imam Hussein warned him, don't do that. You are not going to achieve the devilish dreams that you have in your mind and wishes that you are going to do this and you have a strong position and property and prestige and everything. No, it's not going to happen that way. Quran said that you are going to be loser. So he lost it. He participated and he said, Ya khayl Allah irkabi wa abshir. He said what his father said in Al-Qadisiyah, but he said it now in the wrong time and wrong place. He said, oh army of Allah, mobilize, start your attack, and you are going to be rewarded by paradise. That was not army of Allah, that was army of Iblis, army of evil. And they started. And he failed in his Ashura, he failed in his Karbala. But there is another figure that we all know, the one who won the war, and that was Hurr ibn Yazid ibn Riyahi. This is the man who stopped Imam Hussein in the beginning when he was leading 1,000 soldiers, left Kufa under the commands of Ibn Ziyad and stopped Imam Hussein. You cannot go to Kufa freely. If you want to go to Kufa, you should be arrested and you have to surrender to the authority. Otherwise, no way to Kufa, no back way to Medina. And finally, he had no choice except Karbala. But in the heart of this man, there is some dignity, love, and passion for Ahlul Bayt, in a way that even at the time of prayer, he said, Imam Hussein told him that, okay, it's time of prayer, you want to go and lead the prayer with your soldiers? He said, Nusalli bi salatika ya ibn Rasulullah. We like to pray with you. It's interesting, the enemy that's stopping Imam Hussein and ready to kill him, he has so much trust and confidence in Imam Hussein that he is ready to pray with him. Though when Imam Hussein said, هل أنت معنا أو علينا? Now you are coming and you are coming here to help us or to stand against us. Said, أنا عليكم. لست معكم but عليكم. Ya Rasulullah, I am assigned to stand against you. I didn't come to help, but it may hurt you. But when the time comes for the final decision, on the day of Ashura, Muhajir ibn Aus He said that I saw Ibn Riyahi, he's so nervous, his body is shaking, he's taking his horse, he's riding his horse, and he is leaving. I thought that he is going to attack the army of Imam Hussein. I said, are you going to attack? He didn't answer. And Muhajir again repeated his question. He doesn't realize that Ibn Riyahi is not going to attack the army of Imam Hussein. He is going to join us. He is waking up. Ibn Sa'd, he is sleeping, normal ghafla. But Ibn Riyahi is waking up. He is remembering the hadith of the Holy Prophet, Mutu qabla an tamutu. Die before you die. Means wake up. الناس نيام إذا ماتوا انتبهوا. When they die, they wake up. And he woke up before his death. He said, إني والله أخير نفسي بين الجنة والنار. والله لا أختار على الجنة شيئا ولو قتلت وحرقت. I swear by God that I see myself between heaven and hell, and there is no way that I choose hell over heaven. No way. Even if they cut me in pieces and they burn me, no matter what the cost might be, I'm not that foolish to choose fire over iradatullah and mardatullah. No way. He came closer and closer to Imam Hussein and said, after the salam and greeting, جعلنا الله فداك جعلني الله فداك يا ابن رسول الله أنا صاحبك الذي حبستك عن الرجوع. I feel shame to say that I'm the person who stopped you from returning to your family and to your city. وإني قد جئت تائبا مما كان مني إلى الله ومواسيا لك بنفسي حتى أموت بين يديك. I'm now doing the tawbah, repenting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I'm promising to show my loyalty to you and to sacrifice my life, my soul, for the sake of your cause, Ya Abu Abdullah. Is that acceptable? فَهَلْ تَرَى مِن تَوْبَةٍ? Do you think my tawbah is going to be acceptable? قال عليه السلام نعم يتوب الله عليك ويغفر لك. God is compassionate, merciful. يغفر الذنوب جميعا. فأنزل. Please come and sit down. Get out of your horse. Come down. قال يا أبا عبد الله أنا لك فارسا خير مني راجلا أقاتلهم على فرسي وإلى النزول يسير آخر أمري. Let me not to go down. Let me, as I am riding my horse, let me go and continue my fight and to defeat your enemies. I'm going to down when my job is done, not now. It's too early to come down. Let me go. Till the moment that they reported to Imam Hussein that Ibn Riyahi is under attack. They are bringing his body, and still there is little life, little soul, little spirit and life in the heart of Ibn Riyahi. Imam Hussein is coming and sitting next to him. فجعل يمسح التراب عن وجهه ويقول أنت الحر كما سمتك أمك حر في الدنيا وسعيد في الآخرة. This is a beautiful name that your mom called you free, a free man, a dignified man. This is a nice name. You lived free in this world and prosperous in Akhirah. What we learn from this story of these two guys, Umar ibn Sa'd and Ibn Riyahi, brothers and sisters, confirming that we all are facing moments in our life that we have to have the chance of choice between heaven and hell. And we are able to make that decision if we are free, if we have faith. So the world is screening. There is a screen that we go through this X-ray. You know, you go to the airport and there is an X-ray that shows everything. Yes, Karbala and Ashura is an X-ray. That we go through the system, and the system shows the honesty and dishonesty. The system shows the faithfulness and hypocrisy. And everything should be clear. That is our Karbala, and that is an Ashura. The angels are watching on the day of Ashura. The angels are remembering the day that Allah said, إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً قَالُوا أَتَجْعَلُ فِيهَا مَنْ يُفْسِدُ فِيهَا وَيَسْفِكُ الدِّمَاءَ. Oh Allah, are you creating someone who is bringing mess and corruption and evil and brutality on this planet? At that day, those angels, they were looking at Yazid and Ibn Ziyad and Umar Sa'd. They had an image of those guys in their mind, and they said, oh God, please don't. But in the wisdom of the kingdom of heaven, there was different memory of men. And that was the reason Allah said, إِنِّي أَعْلَمُ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Because in that memory, Imam Hussein is shown. Allah looks at Hussein, but the angels were looking only at Yazid and his family. And they said, probably that's not the right decision. But Allah says, if you see Hussein, you realize that this is a perfect decision. And Quran tells us, وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ ثُمَّ رَدَدْنَاهُ أَسْفَلَ سَافِلِينَ. Allah formed us and shaped us and created us and guided us in the best forms, the highest one. But then when we go through the experience of life and desires and temptation, we may collapse to the lowest of the low, from divine to our desires, to the point that Ilahu Haba, then our ego is our Allah, na'udhu billah. Our arrogance is our Allah. Our interest, our jewelry, our money, our might, our media, our military, our prestige, our popularity, all of this dunyai stuff become our ilah. And that is the point of asfal safilin. And Imam Hussein knows that. He knows this verse, لَهُمْ قُلُوبٌ لَا يَفْقَهُونَ بِهَا وَلَهُمْ أَعْيُنٌ لَا يُبْصِرُونَ بِهَا وَلَهُمْ آذَانٌ لَا يَسْمَعُونَ بِهَا أُولَٰئِكَ كَالْأَنْعَامِ. Subhanallah, كَالْأَنْعَامِ بَلْ هُمْ أَضَلُّ أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْغَافِلُونَ. There are people who have heart but no reflection. They have ears, but they are blind. They have ears, but they are deaf. What happened to them? They are ghafilun. They are negligent. They are negligent. And Quran said they are kal-an'am. They are like animals. The animals in farms and ranch, they are animals that they act like cattle. They are not human beings. This is the story of Yazid and Ibn Ziyad and Umar Sa'd. They chose to be animals. They chose to be ghafilun. They chose to be asfal safilin. They chose to go under wilayah to shaitan. And still they continue. When you say كل يوم عاشوراء كل أرض كربلاء, Ali Yazid continue this brutality. Don't you see ISIS and Al-Nusra and Taliban and Al-Qaeda and Boko Haram? And my goodness, there is no end to this list. Only in Syria there are 400 different terrorist organizations are fighting for years now. What kind of animals? They act like Al-An'am, but Quran says, بَلْ هُمْ أَذَلْ. Don't insult the animals. The animals, poor animals. Why you insult the animals? They didn't do anything wrong. They are worse than animals. Because they are saying, كَمْ تَهِبُ لَنَا? How much you give us to go and kill Imam Hussein? And they are negotiating over money that how much you may give us. They are suiciding for this dunya out of their selfishness and sinfulness and evil ideology that they follow. But then you have Imam Hussein and his companions and his helpers that they are sacrificing for the sake of pleasure of Allah, for the sake of satisfaction of their Lord and salvation of human society. They are totally on the different way. And Allah says it so beautifully, أَلْهَاكُمُ التَّكَاثُرُ حَتَّى زُرْتُمُ الْمَقَابِرِ كلا سوف تعلمون ثم كلا سوف تعلمون كلا لو تعلمون علم اليقين لترون الجحيم ثم لترونها عين اليقين ثم لتسألن يومئذ عن النعيم. They are so proud of their number and their power that they are visiting the graves to say that even our number is more, or probably visiting the grave to destroy the graves. Now the guys who are destroying even in the graves of the companions, the graves of the martyrs, they are ready to destroy the grave of Imam Hussein, who was martyred for almost 1400 years ago. And Quran says that if you had eye, if you had vision, if you could open your mind, if you could open your eyes, you could see Jahannam, that you are running to the heart of hell. But the problem is that your eyes closed and your hearts closed and your minds closed, and you sold your soul to Shaitan. And you accepted the strategy of devil, so you cannot see it, you cannot realize it. But remember, لَتُسْأَلُنَّ يَوْمَئِذٍ عَنِ النَّعِيمِ. We gave you the gift of the Quran, the gift of the Hadith, the gift of the guidance, the gift of Ahlul Bayt, the gift of leadership. But you destroyed the gift, you did not use the gift, you abused the gift. And that is the problem. So Imam Hussein's, on this day of Ashura that's coming, chose to fly the ascension. And that was his Laylatul Qadr. Your Laylatul Ashura, Laylat Ashur, the 10th, for Imam Hussein is kind of Laylatul Qadr. Can we turn the night of Ashura to the Laylatul Qadr of our life? The Layla of love, the Layla of loyalty, the Layla of solidarity with Ahlul Bayt. That is night of Ashura. To choose Al-Fana'u Fillah, the ascension. Because Laylatul Qadr was the ascension that the Quran came down. And Imam Hussein chose that go up with his soul. So we have an descension and we have an ascension, mi'raj. Mi'raj al-arwah, mi'raj al-shuhada, ila alam al-malakut. And this is why we express our love, our passion and enthusiasm and support and solidarity for the family of Imam Hussein, for all those who follow the faith and the path of Sayyid al-Shahada, Sibt al-Nabi, Sayyid Shabab Ahl al-Jannah, the master of the youth of paradise, brothers and sisters. This is what we are doing these days and these nights. May Allah bless you for your love. We are honored and proud to be part of such a great community of love for Islam and love for Ahlul Bayt, and so much appreciation and gratefulness for this deep love and emotions and enthusiasm for Imam Hussein, that we see all the masajid are full of lovers of Imam Hussein and lovers of Ahlul Bayt. Inshallah, we continue this. Only 2 more nights left, tomorrow night and the night after. And as Sister Zainab mentioned, inshallah on Tuesday at 9:30. Remember, you have 2 missions on this Tuesday. One is to vote, and the other one is to come and commemorate the memory of Imam